This episode of the LCTV News is brought to you by Encompass Health, North Shore Community College, Leo Inc., and Brotherhood Credit Union.
Welcome to LCTV News and the almost official beginning of spring. Lynn is headed into this new season full speed on the backs of new investments and events presented by some of the many organizations in the city, particularly in the artistic disciplines, as shown by the topic of this week's Lowdown, the All-City Art exhibit happening in a few days. Let's jump right into the news for Friday, March 15th, 2024. The Riverworks commuter rail station is moving north to make it more publicly accessible through a $561,000 grant from the Neighborhood Access Equity and the Reconnecting Communities and Neighborhoods programs. The Riverworks Reimagined plan summarizes the intent to move the location of the station a third of a mile north to reconnect specific neighborhoods to jobs, open space, and the bus routes on the Lynnway, as well as rail connections to Boston. The community planning study phase was greenlit by the RCN earlier this week, which will be used to begin the funding, design, and construction of the new station. According to Senator Moulton's office, 19% of residents in the city do not have access to a car, but in the areas surrounding the Riverworks, 50% of households do not own one. The relocation will also include flood resiliency, bolster waterfront access, and public transportation development, and most importantly, have a safe, ADA-compliant way to access the railroad. It would also support the development of 66 acres of vacant land to include new housing, industrial and commercial development to go along with green space and a waterfront pedestrian walkway. The Massachusetts Clean Water Trust Boards of Trustees announced just over $78 million in new low-interest loans and grants at their March 6th meeting. The trust, in collaboration with the Massachusetts Department of Environmental Protection, is working to help communities build or replace water infrastructure to improve the quality of surface and groundwater, all to ensure the safety of drinking water, protect public health, and increase the resiliency of these 9 communities. Lynn Water and Sewer is the recipient of a $1.2 million loan, which will go towards West Lynn sewer separation. The funding is provided through the Mass State Revolving Funds, functioning as an environmental infrastructure bank for water projects across the Commonwealth. Lynn Tech Skills USA and TV Media held their 3rd annual Multi Media Expo last Saturday the 9th. A combination of resource tables, a panel discussion, and free headshots gave high school and college students the chance to learn more about the media production industry.
What can we do, as a community, as a school, to give back? So what we want to do, let's get everyone in one room to answer questions that reflect some concerns that people have and some questions people have about TV production. So the whole purpose of this event is to pay it forward, pass the baton to the next generation, and really be able to impact and have them have access to equipment, which is just as important. So, we got fantastic resource tables. Public access is kind of how I started. So we got 2 great public access stations, PBD Public Access, Lynn Community Access. And, we have 2 of the unions here. We have SAG-AFTRA and Local 481 kind of give opportunities of, okay, TV production is cool, but what other things I could do? How do I get into a union? Filmmakers Collaborative, in terms about making grants and helping people, if they want to be filmmakers, how do you fund that? So, we kind of want to bring different experts in their particular area that really highlight the needs of the community. This actually got started where, those different students asking questions about production. It was something where, I've been really blessed to teach here at Lynn Tech, but there's some other students who I was in contact with who are not in a vocational school, who don't have those opportunities. So I'm like, okay, what can we do to have a public event that can kind of put everyone in one room, people who take TV, or people who just graduated, people who are in college, people who are thinking about TV. What event could we do to kind of encapsulate everybody and really have a massive event that kind of answers those questions and also gives them resources? So it just started by, the curiosity of different mentees that I had, and I wanted to give them more than just a one-on-one conversation. I want to really give them opportunity. I just want to thank everyone for coming. It's a blessing. It's a blessing to be busy. It's a blessing that we have so many amazing kids, and it's a blessing that we're here at Lynn Tech, and this is really a community event that it's really grown, and I can't wait till next year.
The Lynn Music Foundation has unveiled a new lineup of events beginning next month for a wide array of ages. First up is the WMN x LMF Youth Songwriting and Performance Workshop on Mondays from 3:30 to 5:30 p.m. starting on April 1st and led by Solamira. Designed for youth aged 12 to 17 to empower the next generation through music and technology. For older residents, there's Keep Moving Forward, an artist development workshop by Jay Moon, focused on artist branding and marketing techniques on Tuesdays from 6 to 8 p.m., with the first workshop on April 2nd. Or Limitless Academy, a songwriting and performance workshop led by Dion's. Join them on Wednesdays from 5 to 7 p.m., beginning April 3rd, to enhance your skills in storytelling and creativity. Visit lynnmusic.org for more information and to sign up if interested. After having his bike stolen earlier this week, a middle schooler got an unexpected surprise from Breed Middle School in collaboration with Walmart. At basketball practice, he was surprised with a new bike and bike lock surrounded by his teammates and coach. Here's more.
I know his struggle. I remember riding my bike from Breed to that house, which is down by the Commons, and I'll leave it like that. I needed my bike to get home, and he needs his bike. So with further ado, I'd like to bring Yaziel up here. Come on up, clap it up for him. And this is your bike.
Thank you, Coach.
I love you.
Love you too.
And let's see how you look on your new bike. And last thing, this is your lock. So no one can steal your bike, because I know why they stole it. You didn't have a bike lock. So the rules are the rules. You have a bike lock, you don't have a bike lock, your bike get taken. Yeah. But that's not gonna happen again. This is your new bike lock. And this is your new bike. Clap it up for them, guys. Sit on your new bike. Sponsored by Walmart.
The League of Women's Voters held an event at the Lynn Museum last Friday the 9th with the purpose of empowering girls and young women, using a combination of resource tables and speeches meant to engage, educate, and encourage young women to become involved politically.
The reason we are gathered here today is because we are celebrating Women's History Month, but we are also doing a civic education outreach to empower young women and young girls to take a dream, a thought, or a change to that next level of reality. So throughout the day, we have supportive colleagues that all represent different organizations on the North Shore.
It's really important for all of us to come together for these efforts, but especially if it's to create a platform for engagement for our girls and the women in our community.
It's about empowerment, and not just empowerment of women, but empowerment of girls, which is why the focus this morning is on girls.
The power of the vote that was earned by the women in our country in 1920 empowers girls, women to have a part in their community and our country.
Our mission is to inspire girls to be strong, smart, and bold, and we know that empowering girls with the knowledge, the skills, and the attitude so that they can be active members of the community and of society will help us work towards gender equality.
I would love for them to feel empowered, inspired, and feel that they do matter and they can be whatever they want to actually do be or be after they're becoming themselves as becoming teens and then going on to young adults and beyond that factor.
I want them to learn about the journey of women, their struggle, how we got here, and still we have a long way to go.
We just wanted to share the history of how women got to where we are today and to share the importance of how hard women fought for the vote and how long it took them to get the vote, and to share that with young girls who might not know that history.
What do you hope all the girls that come today take away from this more than anything else?
That they feel supported and that they know that they have many, many, many different resources at their fingertips. All they have to do is exercise it. That's what we hope we got across.
GE Aerospace announced their plans to invest $650 million into its manufacturing facilities and supply chains at 22 facilities over 14 states. The funding will be used to increase production, enhance safety, and invest in cutting-edge technology, according to a press release from the company on the 12th. $30 million of this is coming to Lynn, a site focused on engine assembly and testing to support the production of U.S. and allied military helicopters and fighter jet engines. Funds will also be used to build upon investments from 2023 and general facility maintenance and upkeep. GE is also hiring for more than 1,000 open positions in their facilities. LHAND held their annual St. Patrick's Day lunch this past Thursday the 14th. Full of music, food, and fun, the highlight came when several members of the community were recognized for their service and dedication.
On Thursday, March 14th, the Lynn Housing Authority hosted their annual St. Patrick's Day lunch over on Church Street. Celebrating Irish heritage as well as individuals deserving, the event was packed with good music, food, and a few clever jokes.
Now we have a couple of twofers here. Oh, there's my Oscar song. That's my Aunt Ginger. It's all actually perfect timing.
Awards were handed out by Lynn Housing Director of Finance Joe Scanlon, with the Laurie Walsh Memorial Commissioner Service Award going to Susan Barrios and the staff of the Housing Stabilization Department. Essex County Sheriff Kevin Coppinger was given the John Sullivan Community Service Award, and finally, the Irishman of the Year going to Jim Ridley. Mayor Nicholson also spoke on the importance of this event.
The Lynn Housing Authority has such an important mission of supporting our community and helping people find their homes, keep their homes, develop their homes, develop their lives around their community. And the Lynn Housing Authority, through events like this, help us create that sense of community throughout the city. Our ability to celebrate one another, to celebrate our Irish heritage, and to celebrate each of our respective heritage and how that all comes together in this amazing city of Lynn. Have a happy St. Patrick's Day. Thank you so much.
For LCTV News, I'm Josh Englander.
On the line, the sports update. The Lynn Tech Tigers had an incredible season, advancing all the way to the Elite Eight, but that's where their journey would end. Wareham showed them why they are the #1 seed, beating the Tigers 95-49. They were up 27 by halftime, causing turnovers all game with their full court press. Despite the loss, Tech has turned their program around in the last few years, bowing out with a 20-3 record and vocational championship. The team is full of young players looking to build on this foundation. For the St. Mary's girls, it may not have been the prettiest run, but you can't argue with the results, as they advanced to the Final Four before their quest would end. In the Elite Eight, the 5th-seeded Spartans downed 4th-ranked Hanover over the weekend 47-31. Led by Jillian Roberts, who hit multiple threes in the final period and scored 18 overall. The Spartans went on an 8-2 run in the fourth to secure the win. But they ran into a wall against top-seeded Foxborough in the Final Four, losing 65-34. The Warriors took a 9-1 lead to open the game and never gave up the momentum. St. Mary's fought to get back in it when Foxborough got into foul trouble, but they were still down 28-15 at halftime. By the second half, fatigue and uncertainty were starting to set in for the young team, allowing the Warriors to outscore the Spartans 24-10 in the third and 13-9 in the fourth. Their girls' team has a chance to win it all, defeating Archbishop Williams in a thriller 2-1 in overtime, advancing to the title game. The defense on both sides was tight, as neither team let up a goal for the first two periods. Goalie Gianna Triangle kept St. Mary's in it, making 3 saves in the first 2 minutes of play and another 34 the rest of the game. Then, with just over 9 minutes remaining in regulation, Alyssa Norden tipped in a shot by Bella Freitas. Archbishop Williams would even the game a minute later on a rebound. Tied 1-1 in overtime, Freitas grabbed a loose puck in the neutral zone, fitting a snapshot between the goalie's glove and the side post. The Spartans will play the championship game against top-ranked Notre Dame at TD Garden on the 17th. The Bruins have moved to second in the Atlantic Division with a 39-14-15 record. They did win over the weekend 5-1, skating circles around the Pittsburgh Penguins. David Pastrnak recorded his 40th goal, making it the 4th time in his career he has netted at least 40 goals in a season. They lost on the 11th 5-1 to the St. Louis Blues before beating the Montreal Canadiens 2-1 in overtime on the 14th. At 52-12, the league-leading Celtics are 9.5 games ahead of the second-place Milwaukee Bucks. They are also the first team to break the 50-win mark, and with less than a month remaining in the regular season, are charging towards the playoffs. They are currently on a 4-game win streak, beating the Phoenix Suns 117-107, the Portland Trail Blazers 121-99, and the Utah Jazz 121-107. As has been the case all season long, it was a team effort versus the Suns, courtesy of double-digit nights by 6 Celtics, led by Jason Tatum with 29 points and 10 rebounds. The Trailblazers game saw Sam Hauser have an impressive 22-point night. The Celtics came out swinging against the Jazz, recording a 44-point first period. Tatum and Derek White were on fire, netting 38 and 22 points respectively. They beat the Suns again on the 14th, 127-112. The Lynn Public Schools All-City Art Show is next week, running from the 20th to the 23rd. An opening reception will be held from 4 to 6 on Wednesday the 20th to showcase art ranging from pre-K to high school seniors. Here's more from the organizers. Hello and welcome back to the Lynn Lowdown. I'm Danny Vittori, and today we're joined by 2 guests on Zoom from Lynn Public Schools to talk about the All-City Art Exhibit happening in a few weeks. Thank you both for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. We're thrilled.
Of course. And would you mind just briefly introducing yourselves for us and saying your title and your association with the event?
Sure, Danny, thank you. I'm Dr. Patty Klibansky. I am the Director of Art, Theater, and Dance under the Curriculum Department in the Lynn Public Schools. I help oversee and supervise and direct all pre-K through 12 grades staff in the Lynn Public Schools.
Great.
And I'm Katelyn Bradly. I'm an early childhood art educator.
So just, can you give a brief overview of this event, like when it's happening, what's happening?
Absolutely. I'm happy to start. This is our All-City Art Exhibit representing our students' finest work in all 27 schools of the Lynn Public Schools. The grade span is for pre-K through 12, so we have all our top artists exhibiting, and our opening night is March 20th from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. We also have visiting hours the next few days after that, and the visiting hours, it's all open to the public and free. At the LynnArts galleries on 25 Exchange Street. And the visiting hours are March 21st and 22nd from 12 to 3 p.m. and Saturday, March 23rd from 10 to 2 p.m. And we will have some teachers and myself representing there and welcoming guests. Of course, we encourage everybody to come on opening night and to get there a little bit early for parking, but the event is open for all.
Great. And I noticed on the notes you sent that it's your 20-year anniversary of doing this. So is there anything special or specific you're doing for that?
Sure. So we started this back in 2002, early on with an Arts Can Teach grant, and we had visiting artists and encouraging our students to exhibit their work like professional artists, and that's where our partnership with LynnArts started. So we have been keeping to this tradition every year annually ever since, with the exception of a shutdown, during the pandemic for 2 years, where we exhibited virtually at that time. But basically, for the 20th anniversary, what we want to do is invite a special guest poet and artist, Sarah Ting. And we've been working on a special project with her called the Sun Poem Project, based on her famous poem, The Sun Poem. And so that unveiling of that work is also going to be happening on opening night. So we're hoping a lot of people from the Lynn community are going to come to check it out and see this inspiring work.
Oh yeah, some exciting stuff happening. I'm really curious to see it too. And I'll ask, how are students selected for this exhibit? Like, what's that process like?
I'm going to have Katelyn Bradly actually speak to this as the teacher.
So every school has, the master teacher that's looking at all the student works. We're selecting the top students in each school. We're hoping to make sure that students across all grade levels are represented. From the beginning of the year, we know the show is gonna go on in March. So we take our time to, sort of look at the lessons that we're teaching and select works from all the kids that are really representing the top work that we have in our schools.
Yeah, can I just add something? So the top artists in the schools are represented, not because only they're top artists, but we want them to get a feel for what it's like to be a professional artist, because potentially they might be going into the arts long-term or, for their careers someday or, long-term hobbies. So we want to encourage our students to go through the process of presenting their art that's standards-based with our curriculum. And so it's exciting that they get to do that. There's something else I wanted to share about that. The teachers do curate, and so they select the works, as Katelyn mentioned, and they do a fine job of that, of being inclusive and selecting like people of all abilities, of all backgrounds. We try to look at different demographics and making sure we're celebrating, a lot of different things and a lot in our students through their art. But it is their show, so students sometimes at the higher levels, like in the college level classes at the high schools, for example, sometimes students will select their own work from their portfolios that they want to show to the public, where they're able to like pick from more works. They're able to do that. So that professional experience of like having students at the higher levels, kind of go through and show like what they want to communicate to the larger community is an important lesson in itself. And part of the teaching and selection process along with the teacher.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. It's definitely a great experience for the students. Yeah. And you touched on it a little bit, but both of you, what do you think are other benefits to giving students this really professional experience as, young members of society?
Yeah, I think it encourages students to show that they have a voice and that they really matter. They're not just the future, they're the present. Their voice is powerful now, and they can communicate through their art. And giving students access and materials and opportunities and venues and different ways to communicate their voice is so important. Of course, writing is important. There are all different ways of communicating, but the arts is visual art in itself is very powerful. So we teach this in our daily lessons and throughout the district and our trainings with staff, that we want students to really, we encourage them to express themselves about different topics, whether it be social justice, current events, Black History Month, celebrating their own identities or problems they're having. There are a lot of reasons why people make art. And part of that also includes, like, you know, wanting to share that with people around you, inspiring others around you, or just connecting with those in your community around you, and having an audience and having people see what it is that you're communicating.
I think too, for my younger students, it gives them such a confidence boost to see their work with some of the older students' work and see, you know, what they could aspire to being, you know, later on in their art career.
And your young artists, Katelyn, are so expressive. Their work is fabulous. I can't wait to see it next to, you know, we have pre-K and grade K and grade 1. It actually exhibited right next to a senior's work. Mm-hmm. It's exciting to see the growth and how they go from, you know, where they are at 4 years old to where they are at 18 or 19 years old.
Sure.
It's actually, the growth is amazing to see side by side.
Yeah, definitely. And you mentioned, Katelyn, you work with younger kids. So what range do you teach?
I have done pre-K all the way up to 5th. Right now I'm working with mostly pre-K kiddos, which is amazing. We do a lot of process art. So it's funny because, you know, what ends up in our art shows is technically product, but the work that we do to get there is what I think is really important to kids in the age group that I work with.
Mm-hmm. Really giving them a chance to express themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And is there a specific medium, or is it a wide range? Do the students get to choose how to best show their art?
Katelyn, you want to answer that?
It's a wide range. I mean, you'll see a lot of mediums. There's 2D and 3D work, which is really exciting because I think a lot of times 3D work isn't always represented in shows like this, and I think it's amazing that the kids get to experience showcasing both of those. So you'll see it's a wide variety of mediums.
We've had in the past found objects in our shows, things like recycled materials, traditional materials like acrylic paints and watercolor paints and clay, and then we've had plastic bottles and things like that as well, and topics about, you know, conserving the land and things like that. But you'll see all different things. We've even had glass. We've done glass fusion with the secondary teachers, so we've had some glass projects featured from certain schools, since we have some glass kilns in the secondaries. So there's a pretty wide range.
I'm excited now. I'm getting excited to see this and what they come up with, because it can be so creative and so fascinating to see how they express themselves through the art. And I know I have to wrap up in a moment, but is there anything else that I didn't cover that either of you wanted to mention about the show?
We would just love to see everybody from the community stop by. And again, if you cannot make it to opening night, we'll be there for visiting hours on the 21st, 22nd, and 23rd. We have our art exhibit invitation on the Lynn Schools website, and through Lynn Community Television has their link promoting the show as well. So we hope to see everybody.
Great. Anything else you want to add, Katelyn, or are we?
No, we're excited. All the teachers are really excited. I know Dr. Klibansky is really excited. All of our kids are super excited. So we're hoping it's a really good turnout.
There is one thing I forgot. Oh, it's National Youth Art Month in March, and that is one of the main reasons we like to feature and have this exhibit in March now, is that it celebrates art during a time where nationally it is recognized.
I love that, the connection to a bigger thing. And I said, you got me really excited to see the kind of art that these kids are going to come up with. So if you're interested in, go on by and see it. And I want to thank both of you again for coming on to talk about it.
Thank you, Danny. Thank you, Danny. We hope to see you there too.
Oh, yes, of course. And once again, I'm Danny Vittori. This has been the Lynn Lowdown, and join us next week with more guests. Up next, the community calendar. Interested in improving your baseball and softball skills? Register for one of the East Lynn Little League's free clinics happening every Saturday from February 24th to March 3rd. The next clinic is tomorrow the 16th, providing training for entry level to more experienced. Baseball clinics are located at Lynn English High, 10 to 11 a.m. for 4 to 8-year-olds, and 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. for ages 9 to 12. Go to Breed Middle School for softball clinics, age 6 to 7 from 2 to 3, and age 8 to 16 from 3 to 5. Softball is for those in East and West Lynn, while baseball is only for East Lynn. The next installation of events to celebrate Women's History Month is a Women's History Month panel titled Celebrating Trailblazers, hosted by the City of Lynn at the Lynn Museum on March 21st from 5 to 7 p.m. Moderated by Faustina Cuevas, the DEI officer for the City of Lynn, the panel will feature 7 women in various leadership positions, including city council and businesses. Come to hear their stories, achievements, and lessons they have learned to inspire the next generation of trailblazers. The Real program is holding their 3rd annual Free Little Library Crawl next Saturday the 23rd from 12 to 3 p.m., beginning at the Lynn Museum with the Puppet Parade and live West African drumming, after which families will search for clues hidden in the exhibits of the Lynn Museum and Free Little Libraries in the neighboring Vault Theater. The afternoon will conclude with readings in multiple languages and certificate presentations by the Lynn Community Police. That is all the news for this week. As always, go to LynnTV.org to access our event coverage, community calendar, and stream our channel all for free. And follow us on social media at Lynn Community Television for updates, information on upcoming events, and more. If videos are more your speed, visit Lynn Community Television on YouTube for shows ranging from sports to opinion to interviews. I'm Danny Vittori, this is LCTV News, and we will see you next week.
This episode of the LCTV News is brought to you by Encompass Health, North Shore Community College, Leo Inc., and Brotherhood Credit Union.